what we do and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310. And we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Bork. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Tuesday, 28th day of June, 2016. Let's take a quick look at the numbers. A little bit different shade today in some markets. We'll start here in the U.S. cash markets. The Dow is up 149 points, almost 1%. NASDAQ is up 70 points, that's 1.5%. S&P 500 is up 21 points, that's over 1%, and the Russell 2000 is up 15 points, 1.5%. Turning to our commodity basket, in crude oil, we're up 89 cents, that's almost 2%. Gold is down $6.80, that's half of 1%. And in the Asian markets, the Nikkei is up 13, Shanghai up 17, and the Hang Seng down 54. Things are pretty quiet in Asia. Europe finally getting a green day after the Brexit. DAX up 178 points, that's almost 2%. FTSE up 158 points. That's 2.5%. And the CAC is up 104 points. That's 2.5%. Europe, green as it gets. Asia, a little mixed. And here at home, green, green, and more green. Only thing taking a whacking today is gold, and not a lot, 670. We talked yesterday on the show with Garrett about gold not tanking, as someone put it, but being due for a little bit of a pullback. That's how markets work. They put in a leg and a retracement, and a leg and a retracement, and that's just how markets work. The sooner you're able to understand that, because so many times traders ask themselves, why is it the second I get in, the market goes the other way? I'm cursed, I'm jinxed, my office is bugged. No. The market makes a leg and you say, oh, I see the market's going up, so you go long. Well, you've timed it perfectly. You noticed that it was moving up, that's called a leg, and so you dive in just as it's about to make its retracement. You get stopped out, and then it makes another leg up, and you go, doggone it, it's not going to get away from me this time. So you go long, and it makes another retracement. And you really start to get frustrated. It puts in another nice, strong leg, this big leg this time. And you go, I'm getting this one. And once again, you buy the high. And the same thing happens on the short side. It's one of the most basic lessons you learn in technical analysis. That and that alone can keep you in the business long enough to actually learn how to trade. So hopefully you'll give that some thought, put it to use. I know many of you have been trading for many, many years, and that's all very elementary to you. But each and every day we have new people listening to the program, and so for them, that type of information is incredibly beneficial. Now, for those of you who are new, you should be able to see the chart I have up right now of the S&P 500 Emini Futures. If you cannot see the chart, then you're not fully logged in. Go to our homepage at CFRN.net. That could be where you're listening to the audio stream from right now. You can listen from a number of third-party apps. But if you're on our homepage, on the right-hand side, click the big microphone. It'll take you to another page. Follow those instructions, and within 30 seconds, you'll be able to see the charts all the way through the end of the month, which would be Thursday. But more importantly, you'll have access to the chat box. And the chat box is your window to the world, your opportunity to ask any questions that you have about trading, about technical analysis, about what's the red line, the green line, what's a higher high, what's a lower low. Whatever your questions are, we're happy to answer them. And no one sees what you type in the chat box except Michael and myself. So don't be shy. Type away. The sooner you ask, the sooner you'll learn. And the sooner you learn, the sooner you'll earn. Write that down. It's good. All right. With that said, on the S&P 500, we know Friday was a killer day. We won't gloat and talk about the 84 points. But we will talk about yesterday, where we had an opportunity for 10.5 points on the upside, 16.5 points on the downside. Now, today, after these two relatively big days, Friday, of course, was one-sided. Yesterday, we had two-sided action. Today, it's all been to the upside. And last night, our Concierge Trade Alert clients got an email that said if you're an S&P trader, you want to buy 1998. Now, some people would say, oh, you can't buy 1998 because that's right before the round number 2000. You'll just get slapped down. Well, does that look like a slap down to you? Or does that look more like a rocket ship? Okay? So from 1998, we put in a swing high at 2018 and a quarter, which works out to be roughly 20 points at $50 per point, or $1,000 per contract. Now, for the 10 contract trader, that's a day to be dancing in the streets. But you can't become a 10 contract trader just because you have the money. And by the way, the indices, the margins have come back down to what we're accustomed to, $500 per contract on the S&P and the Dow, the NASDAQ. So you can go back to the level you were at. Just because you have $5,000 in your account doesn't mean you should be trading 10 S&P 500 E-mini contracts. You earn the right to trade one by being consistently profitable in the simulator. Then you go live with one. You increase your account balance by $2,000. Then you add two, your second contract. And then we go to a calendar-based schedule. And at the right time, you'll add your third contract. If you build your house in this manner on a solid foundation, adding each additional contract with profits you earned in the market, if you do that, how could you blow up your account? Well, the answer is you can't, because our blueprint will keep putting you back into the simulator if you're not profitable. Now, if all of a sudden one day you decide to kick the dog and just go all in, I'm just going to take everything I have in my account and I'm going to go along the market. Yeah, that's probably after it put in a nice leg and it's ready for a retracement. And now you've proven to yourself that you're cursed, that it's hopeless, that you can't learn how to trade. That's why there's a 90% line and a 10% line, because there's a small group of people who will actually take the time to learn how to trade. Okay, now learning how to trade and becoming a prophet who can predict the future, that's two entirely different things. Black magic, voodoo, crystal balls, that's all designed to simply separate you from your money. Okay? No one knows, no one on planet Earth knows if the next tick in the market is going to be up or down. However, through a thorough understanding of technical analysis, what you can learn how to do is to put yourself on the right side of a high probability trade setup. Does that mean that every trade will be profitable? No. In fact, the best trader on planet Earth is profitable roughly 7 out of 10 trades. That means 3 out of 10 trades, he stands there with a blank stare on his face wondering what happened. Actually, he doesn't, because he understands that's part of the business. As an airline pilot, you've got to land the plane perfectly every time. As a doctor, when you're removing the appendix, back when you had to open people up, you had to open the right side every time. There weren't any do-overs. If you're an engineer, you don't get do-overs. People's lives are at stake. What you have to accept is that the best of the best is being correct 7 out of 10 times. But yet people stress out and freak out and throw their monitor out the window because they can't do 10 out of 10. What the best and brightest of Wall Street accomplish, they want to outdo that because they bought a $99 indicator off the internet, put a few dollars in an account, and said, giddy up, let's go. You got to believe if it were easy, everybody would do it. But here's the key. Trading's not easy, but it can be simple. And that's what we've done now in our second decade. We've taken this thing called trading, and we've shown you day after day after day in our live trading room that it's not hard, but it can be simple. Michael's going to come in right now. He's going to give you a recap of everything that happened in the live trading room today. The good, the bad, the stuff we do not sweep under the carpet. If you have questions about anything he shows you, type it into the chat box. Make sure you understand exactly what's going on. We had an incredibly killer night last night on the Concierge Trade Alerts. So once Michael is finished with the live trading room results, I'll be back with our good word for the day and also the alerts from last night. And we'll answer your questions all along the way. Michael, take it away.
I will do that. All right, let me get my spreadsheet up there. There we go. Okay, I am ready. Ready to hit the button. Alright, good afternoon everyone. Today is Tuesday, the 28th day of June. Today in the live trading room, let's see. Today in the live trading room, we lost 16 ticks on the euro. We lost 2 ticks on the YM. We made 15 ticks on crude and 18 ticks on gold. Okay, that puts us up 220 on the day. And today it took 11 minutes and 4 trades to get to $120 a contract, and we took a total of 14 trades. So on the month now, we're at $5,165. That's over 20 trading days, and we're averaging $258 per day. $258 per day. If you were to apply, an $8 commission to every trade we've taken, you would have a net profit of $2,661. And if you were to apply a $5 commission to every trade we've taken, you would have a net profit of $3,600. On the year now, we're up $30,658. That's over 120 trading days, averaging $255 per day. That's $255 per day. Okay. If you have not taken a free trial with us, okay, just go here to CFRN.net, and in the right-hand column where it says name, put in your name. Where it says email, put in your email. Click on register for a free trial. When you do that, you will be sent a confirmation link. Okay, you must click on the confirmation link. If you don't click the confirmation link, you will not get a free trial. All right, it's as simple as that. All right. So with that, we'll get into the trades that I took. All right, gold. Our first trade on gold right here, we made 8 ticks profit right there. Okay, our next trade was right over here. We made another 8 ticks, putting us at plus 16. Then I missed all this right here on this huge move down. I don't know what I was doing, but I wasn't looking at gold because it was a huge move down right there that I missed 5 trades on. The next trade that I did actually take was over here, and we got 10 ticks profit on that, putting us at plus 26. And then we stopped out here, putting us back down to plus 18. Okay, now during the break, Looks like there was a long trade right here. And there would have been another one right there. And that was it. That was it. So we were plus 18 on gold. Plus 18. Okay. On the YM. Let's see what we had. We're back and forth today on the YM. Our first trade here on the YM was right here. Yeah, it was right here. We made 6 ticks profit. I believe, I'm not sure. That might be where we got our goal for the day. How many minutes did I say? 11 minutes? No, it wasn't. We made 6 ticks profit here on the YM. The next trade was a break-even trade right there. Then something's missing. Okay, I had a stop out in here that's missing. On the YM, we had 6 ticks profit. And somewhere in here I stopped out. Ah, okay, John, it was just you. Somewhere in here I stopped out and put me down to -2. Then I made 8 ticks profit here, putting me back up to +6. Break-even trade, break-even trade, break-even trade. Stop out, back down to -2. And that is where I ended the day on the YM. So I don't know exactly where it was in here, but I did stop out somewhere in here. I don't know where. Anyway, and that put us down to -2 on the day on the YM. And during the break, let's see, we had a lower swing right there. Looks like we could have shorted right there for that leg down. Then change directions and bounce off the BBC there. And long trade right there. And nothing in here. Okay. And that was that on the YM. We ended with -2 ticks on the YM today. On crude oil, let's see, we had a couple of trades here on crude. The first one was right here. We took 6 ticks profit on that one. I believe that was where we got our goal for the day. Doesn't look like 11 minutes, but anyway. Our first trade of the day was on the euro. We lost 8 ticks. Then we made 8 on gold, 6 on the YM, and 6 on crude. This one right here, the second trade, we made 9 ticks profit. That put us at +15. Then you can see it was just moving down here, and I missed a few trades. It reset the cycle right in here. It kept moving down. Then during the break here, it changed direction, started moving up. There was a long trade there. And just had a short trade right here. Okay. And that was that. All right. The soybeans, we didn't have a trade on all morning. Okay. In the pre-market, well, you can't really trade soybeans that well in the pre-market. There's usually a pretty good spread. But yeah, we didn't have anything here on the soybeans. I mean, even right over here, it was a bounce off the BBC. I'm not sure if I would have done that because it wasn't really trending. Now we got a lower swing in place, so now if it started to move down, we would go with it. But, you know, ever since the whole Brexit thing, the soybeans haven't been that active. And on the euro was not good to us today. We had 2 trades. This was our first trade, stopped us out. This was our second trade, and it stopped us out. There was 1 trade in here that we missed, and then, let's see, during the break, there was a long trade there, and that was about it. Okay, and that was about it during the break. And that's it. All right. Yeah, I didn't do any trading on the soybeans today, John. All right, so if you have not taken a free trial with us, then just go to the home page at CFRN.net. Over here in the right-hand column where it says name, put in your name. where it says email, put in your email, then click on register for a free trial. Okay, once you do that, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click the confirmation link, okay? By doing this, we don't know that you registered for the free trial. By clicking on the confirmation link, then we do know. Okay, this spreadsheet you can get to by going view live trading room results, click on that, and then click on this link right here. Okay, and that will bring you to the spreadsheet. It goes back 3.5 years. Daily results for 3.5 years. Who else gives you that kind of stuff? Alright, so speaking of the spreadsheet, we were minus 16 on the euro, minus 2 on the YM, plus 15 on crude oil, and plus 18 on gold. On the month, we're up $5,165. That's over 20 trading days, averaging $258 a day. On the year, we are now up $30,658. That's over 120 trading days, averaging $255 per day. All right, and with that, I will shut off the recording, and we can head back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix, if you are ready. Yes,
sir.
that is Ron.
We are ready.
Okay, awesome. And yes, John, that is for one contract. And no, that ain't chopped liver. Now, if you were to look here, this is adding one contract per month. So right now you'd be trading 6 contracts and you'd be up 101,000 if you were to execute exactly the same as I did. This number is going to get bigger as we get toward the end of the year. You know, last year I think it was 300 and something thousand. Oh, 423,000. I think year over year, we're ahead of what we were last year at this point.
Okay, you were done with the screen, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Alrighty then.
Okay.
And recap of the recap?
Today it took 11 minutes and 4 trades to get to $120 per contract.
11 minutes, 4 trades.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that some of you out there in the audience, even though you've been hearing it for years, it still hasn't sunk in that once you learn how to make $100 per contract per day, you don't ever have to learn anything else. I know that sounds too simplistic to be true, but if you can learn how to make $100 a day with one contract, and if you can do that in 10 trades or less, you don't ever have to learn anything else. You don't ever have to do any more heavy lifting. You don't have to do anything different ever again. All you have to do is wake up every day for the rest of your life and go make $100. And at the appropriate time, you can tell the accountant in the back of your mind, or he'll tell you, it's time to put on another contract, and you'll say, okay, cool. But you're not going to worry about that. You're just going to go make your $100. And then once you've made your $100, put the mouse away. Okay? Now, once you've learned how to trade, once you've gone through 10 days and proved that you're consistently profitable at making $100 a day in 10 trades or less, and you go live with one contract, and then you make a couple grand, and then you buy yourself a second contract, maybe you even get up to a third contract. Well, by this point, maybe you're ready to start trailing your stop. Up to that point, you've been trading to a hard target to ensure your consistent profitability every day so that you develop not arrogance, but confidence. Because last night, trailing your stop here would have led you right up to $1,000. And if you were at 4 contracts, that's $4,000. Now, we talked about 4 contracts being a special number because if you make $100 a day on 4 contracts on a 5-day week, that's $2,000 gross before your commissions. That's a pretty good living. Now, if it took you 10 trades every day to make your $100, obviously your net's not going to be nearly as much as the fellow who it took on average 2 to 3 trades a day to make the $100. But let's break it down. What is the $100? If you're trading bonds, it's 4 ticks. If you're trading the S&P, it's 8 ticks. If you're trading gold or crude, it's 10 ticks. How much is 10 ticks? Well, if I stretch this out, or 8 ticks, because this is the S&P, right here from 2000 to 2004, that's 4 points. There's 4 ticks to a point. So from here at 2000 to here at 2004, that's 16 ticks. Now, let me do it from over here so you can see. Here's 2000. Okay. Now watch the horizontal line. Went past it. That was 16 ticks. But you only need 8 if you're trading the 2420 blueprint. So you got to have the patience. You got to have the ability to think in probabilities. And if you have read and or listened to Chapter 7 of Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas, and if it didn't completely change the way you think about trading, then you're going to have to go read or listen to it again. And you're going to have to go read and listen to it again until you understand that to become the consistently profitable trader isn't about going to the gym every day and lifting more weight and more weight and more weight and more weight until you become the strong man at the circus. It has nothing to do with that at all. And unfortunately, that's how 90% of traders approach the business of trading. I got to get bigger, stronger, tougher, meaner. No, that's not the answer. The answer is understanding the ebb and flow of the market. Leg, retrace, leg, retrace, leg, retrace, leg, retrace. And what are we doing? We're building a leg. When will this leg stop? When it gets tired. When it approaches these highs, might that be a good spot for it to at least take a leg back before it continues? Yeah. And then if you look over here, might that be another good spot? Yeah. You teach your children when they cross the street to look both ways. When I teach you to trade, I tell you to look left. The answer to your question, whatever it is, it always lies to the left. All right. Okay, Michael, great day. Thank you, sir.
Okay, all right. I will catch you a little later.
Good. I'll be here. Today we're going to talk about prayer. Imagine that. Why? Because it gives you access to God. Ephesians 3:12 says, we can come before God without fear. Dr. James Kennedy said, I read an interesting book by an unbeliever who attempted to do in the Christian faith. Despite his lack of belief, I found insightful something he said regarding prayer. He called it the most incredible conceit in the history of mankind, arguing that if you worked for General Motors as a lowly employee and wanted to see the CEO, you wouldn't have the remotest chance. True story. Think about it. What would happen if you, Joe Citizen, tried to speak to President Obama? I've thought about putting in a call just to see what would happen. I'd probably get a secretary or an assistant to somebody, but chances of being put through to Barack are slim to none. And so says my skeptical friend in his book, what an incredible conceit to suppose that at any moment we can talk to the boss of the whole shebang. Now remember, this is the anti-Christian who wrote the book, this unbeliever who wanted to do in the Christian faith. And indeed, the concept of prayer would be an incredible conceit if it weren't true. But it is. And it's the most incredible condescension on the part of a gracious God. You could probably never speak to the highly placed people in this world, yet the most highly placed person in the universe, the boss of the whole shebang, as he wrote, waits patiently to hear what you have to say. We can come before God with freedom and without fear through faith in Christ. Now, you have to find that amazing. I suppose you don't have to. The fellow who wrote the book didn't. Or did he? This day, today, not tomorrow, not a month from Tuesday if the garden club cancels, but today, right now, this very moment, you can talk to the boss of the whole shebang. You can tell him your worries, your cares. You can share with him your triumphs and your joys. And he always has time to listen. Prayer, my friend, gives you access to the boss of the whole shebang. And that's our really good word for the day. All right. S&P 500, we've already talked about that. 3 beautiful days back to back. Friday was a beautiful day in every market. Yes, I know the bottom fell out, but that's the beauty of being a futures trader. You're flat when the market closes, and whether the market has moved up or down throughout the day, as long as it has moved up or down, you've had an opportunity to take profit out of the market. Friday was a huge day, one-sided. Monday was a beautiful two-sided day. And now today, I thought I wrote Tuesday in here somewhere. Oh, I did. I should drag those down so you can actually see them. Yeah. That's mo better. Still can't see it all. We'll fix that. There we go. Now we got it all. Now this move up may not be over, but where might it run into trouble? Here, here, and then of course we've got here, which pay little attention to that and focus on this. Okay? All right. So that's the S&P. If you traded the S&P last night, and to those of you who just became Concierge Trade Alert clients over the weekend, I just got to say, what an amazing time you stumbled into. I mean, I'm so happy for you. I can't even begin to tell you. We're going to have a meeting probably tomorrow afternoon or Thursday afternoon, which I'll announce on the radio show. And if you are a Concierge Trade Alert client, an active paid-up Concierge Trade Alert client, I'll make sure you have access to the video. I'll make sure you get access to the meeting and to the video, okay? And we'll go through a few things so that for those of you who just took that monthly special, you'll be able to put this first week, if you're just kind of watching it, just kind of trading it there in Sims so that you get the feel for it, that's fine. I want to make sure that you're able to really get some benefit out of your final 3 weeks. Now, this morning in the live trading room, Bart mentioned that he had a good evening last night. He actually said, I think, I got tired of making money and went to bed. Are you in here, Bart? So, tell me again, what was your comment? If you want, I'll open your mic and you can share it with the world. Give me another Y if you want an open mic. I'll give it to you. Otherwise, you can type it in. You want an open mic? Okay, I'll give you one. Hang on. As soon as I get all this other stuff out of my way over here. Oh my. Be careful downloading AVG Zen, because it will give you pop-ups that don't go away.
Hello?
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 Hey Bart, I guess Mike opened your mic.
I just gave him an open mic.
Okay.
I got it for you.
So Art,
It may not
Bart,
be a good mic, but it's a mic.
no, you sound good.
That's me.
Oh,
So-
good. Okay.
So how'd your night go? Tell us all about it.
Oh, I was elated. I got your alerts. I just barely got into one trade. I forgot what it was. And I was trading gold, oil, and the ES.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get my spreadsheet. I made 350 in ES, 40 in crude, and 270 in gold, totaling 660. And I said, well, I think it's time to quit because I could be giving some of that back. And I was getting to be 11 or 12 o'clock, and I said, I'm not a great sleeper anyway. I'm a man of a certain age like yourself, except quite a bit older. And I said, I'll do this again in the morning. But I mean, you've just been knocking them dead in the Concierge Trade Alerts. Phenomenal performance. And, wasn't something I really believed.
I just put the numbers out there. You're the one that's knocking them dead.
I couldn't do it without you. I could approximate it, but not as well. I guarantee you that.
Well,
And I'm not at Mike's level of a mathematician. I just never believed in the Concierge Alerts. I played with them a little bit, and I said, well, okay, Fibonacci. I was a biologist, so that makes sense. And you've put it to work. So you're the man. You are the man. And thank you. And
well, thank you.
thank you for your you're the only person I get any religion from. I used to go to church every day of the week, and I do enjoy your adoration with the Lord. So thank you for that as well.
Amen. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming on, Bart. I really appreciate it. It's always good to get some good feedback. I got an email the other day. I'm going to be talking to someone who has been knocking them dead, as one would say, with the alerts. So I'm going to talk to him and see if I might be able to get him on the show tomorrow. And we'll pick his brain, and maybe he'll come into the partners meeting Thursday night. He's on vacation, so he may not want to come on until next week, but we'll see what he's up to. But thanks, Bart. Have a great day.
You as well. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye now. All right. Okay. All right. Let's move on from the S&P. Now, by the way, those are the same numbers. If you're a Concierge client, those are the same numbers that were in your inbox. I don't send special numbers to Bart. I send the same numbers to everybody. So here's the Dow. And they went out last night at 9:15. So that's 21:15. So we'll drop our marker at 21:30. That gives you time to rush out to the end box and get back to the platform. So we were looking to buy 17,055. Which is right here. It's a little more like here. 17,055. Come on. There we go. Now, something I want to point out to you. I'd love to point out to you. Bob, I'm going to have to end up using your method. I'm just getting too old for this aggravation. Anyway. Alright. The alerts went out at 21:15. So here's the 2100 hour. The bottom of this candle is 21:30. So they went out about halfway up this candle at 21:15. So if you were there when your email arrived and you got long at 17,055, which is right there, then the first swing high took you up to 149. So basically that's about 100 points, okay? Give or take a few. In fact, let's just write it on here so we don't forget. Buy 17055. Okay. All right. So from 55 to 49. I'm sorry. The high was 50. So that's actually 95. Now, how many points do you need to be done for the day if you're trading the 2420 blueprint. At $5 a point, you need 20 points. Okay, this move was good for 95. Now, if you've reached the point where you trail your stop, we put in a swing high up at 261. So minus 55, we'll call that $206. So 206 points. $206 times $5 per point equals $1,000 per contract. Now, we don't get out at the exact swing high or the exact swing low, okay? Unless you had a hard target in up there. We trail our stop, which means you're always going to give a little something back, okay? You got to get over that, because if you get caught up into the head trip of trying to milk every possible point out of the trade, doom and gloom is going to come and visit you, okay? Remember, you only needed 20. The first move, which was done before midnight, gave you 100 points. And then, if you trailed, you ended up with the market making $1,000 per contract available. Now, we don't make that available. We make this available. We teach you where to place your stop. We teach you when it's time to take a trade and when it's time to walk away from a trade. Okay? So these are things that we'll go over in the class later this week. We'll talk about stop placement, how to know when a trade is worth taking or worth passing. You see, I send out 8 markets per night, 2 trades per market. So on the rare occasion, and bonds may be one of them today, the last time I checked bonds, we had not triggered. Bonds, we were looking to buy 73.30, which I don't think we managed to make. 73, get this thing out of the way. 73.30, nope. And on the short side for bonds, 72.14, right there. So there was no trigger on bonds last night, but it's a rare day and a rare market that we don't have a trigger either on the long or the short side. Okay? All right. So back to the Dow. We've covered that. Let's press on and let's go to gold. And gold has been so incredibly kind to us of late. 600 on the long side yesterday, 400 on the short side, 8 grand on Friday. That's per contract. Now, let's see. We're going to drop our marker at 21.30. Now, if this looks like easy money or free money, please don't be misled. There is no such thing. Okay? Trading's not easy, never has been, never will be. I don't care what the website says. Websites say, or the emails say, or the option guys, they have gotten really big again about sending out actual snail mail. That harkens back to the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I've really seen quite a rash of it lately. So, anyway, last night on gold, we were looking to be sellers at 13.24. So, 13.24 comes in right about here. Now, important prices, important areas are almost always tested. Almost always. 13.24. You get it? There we go. 13.24. Everybody said hooray. Alright, from 13.24 we made it down to a swing low of 13.0820. So that would be roughly 16 points. Now, here's where it gets good. We were looking to sell 13.24. Okay. All right. Now at 13.14, something kind of special happens. From 13.24 to 13.14. That's $1,000 per contract. We're just gonna call it 13.14. It's close enough. Maybe we'll get it there. 13.14. Yay! Gems, crickets. All right. So we got $1,000 per contract. That's what the market made available, and then some. So I really should put $1,000 plus. Per contract. $1,000 plus per contract available. So there's no misunderstanding. Now, let's recap what we've done so far. S&P was good for $1,000 per contract. The Dow was good for $1,000 per contract. Gold was good for $1,000 per contract plus, and then some, as it's called. Okay. Let's move on to bonds, which we already know were flat, and we had no trigger. Doesn't happen a lot, but it can happen. Okay? And when it does, there's not a thing in the world you can do about it except be happy that you get 8 markets with 2 trades per market. Okay? I know some of you are out there rapidly clicking that $500 link that was up over the weekend. It doesn't work anymore. Okay? I told you it would expire on the Globex Open Sunday night. However, the quarterly links and the annual links still work. Okay? All right. So think about it. 8 markets per night, 2 trades per market. They say even a blind squirrel finds an acorn every now and then. Which reminds me, I still want to help our hearing impaired friend. I need to email him and let him know that I'm still thinking about his dilemma. He's followed our site, he watches our trades, he reads what we write, and he desperately wants to learn how to trade. Now, we have the cleverest audience in radio. Somebody out there has to be able to figure out a way that we can help this guy. Get back to me, okay? Because we would be opening a door not just for him, but for tens of thousands of people who are hearing impaired. That's politically correct for deaf, by the way. He used the term deaf. I'm using hearing impaired. But think about it. Think of all the lives that would be given opportunity. Because, you know, it's not so easy sometimes for hearing impaired folks to find jobs. Because there's all kinds of safety issues, etc. And they can't be cashiers. Because when the customer asks for a product, unless they're an excellent lip reader, they won't be able to understand what the customer's asking. Put them in a factory or a warehouse. Somebody could be screaming, "Get out of the way, get out of the way." You understand? We could change the course of so many thousands of lives. We just have to figure out how to do it. Yeah, we could write it all down, but I don't have enough hours in a day. I work from 6 a.m. to midnight, Monday through Friday, and Saturday, and some hours on Saturday, and about 8 hours on Sunday, getting your zones ready, and getting them out, and getting the link, and all the other things. And I'm not complaining. I am thankful to have a job. Very thankful. Because many in this world today don't. Many in this world don't know where their next meal is coming from. Mine's in the refrigerator waiting. Okay? So, I don't moan and complain. I count my blessings. Are there things in my life that I'd like to change, that I'm working to change, that I am changing, that are being changed even as I speak? Yes. But, brother, I am thankful to be a part of your life, to have you as a part of my life, and to call it a job. That's a wonderful thing. All right, so no trigger on bonds. Let's go to crude oil. See what we can find over here. Let's drop our marker at 21.30. And on crude oil, the deal was be a buyer at 46.90. 46.90. There's your 46.80. Let's bump it up to 46.90. So this is where Bart made some of his money, he said. 46.90. We'll get it close. Spot on. Buy 46.90. Okay. If you did that, if you bought 46.90, you didn't get stopped out. In fact, you took no heat, as I heard someone say the other day. And the first real swing high here Well, I mean, right here from 46.90 to 47.06, that's 16 ticks. You could have been done in the first 30 minutes. That's $160 per contract. But you're not going to get out at the exact swing high. So maybe you just get out with your 100 in the first 30 minutes. There's nothing wrong with that. Now this swing high took us up to 47.70. You know you want to get to 47.90. I know I do. Because 47.90, oh, so short. 47.90 would be $1,000 per contract. This is, other than the no trigger, this is the first market that didn't give us $1,000 per contract. Now, it's not done. It came back, and look what it did. Important prices in important areas are almost always tested. It's only got to get one tick below the trigger. That resets the trade. You've heard me say it an awful lot of times. So anyway, the swing high up here, what do we got? 47.79. Okay. I'll calculate. 47.79 minus 46.90. That would be $890 per contract available. $890 per contract available. Okay. Now again, we don't get out at the exact swing high because we trail our stop. And so depending upon how closely you trailed your stop, this is what the market put on the table based off this entry and literally no stop at all. $890 per contract. But then in its infinite kindness, it came back, it triggered a second time at 11 o'clock this morning, and this time it ran up and put in a high at 47.50. Okay, I can do that one in my head. That's 60 ticks. At $10 per tick. You guys are getting this right. No voodoo, no magic, no crystal balls, no incantations, no spells. All you do, open the email, go place the trade. Now you got to understand a little something about trading. If you have a weekly trading zone right overhead, which you won't find me unless I'm rushed, putting you in a situation where your trade alert is facing into a weekly trading zone. Now, those of you that are just on the monthly special, while we have decided to let you have access to the trading room, you still don't have the indicators. So I'm not putting the indicators on these $1,000 moves, but as I showed yesterday on some, there was a $1,000 move that you could have still been in yesterday when I showed it. Okay. So whether you have the indicators or not, as long as you have the numbers and you understand a little something about trading, okay, you can do real good. All right. So we didn't get our $1,000 per contract there. And guess what? Well, actually we did, because we got $890 here and $600 here. That's $1,400. And then $160 over here. but we're not going to call it that. You can call it whatever you want. Let's go soybeans. Y'all ready for this? Okay, I'm ready. 21.30. And the word was on soybeans by 11.12. Okay. 11.12 is right about here, give or take. There's 11.12 and a half. There's 11.12. So if you bought 11.12, now you only need 2 pennies if you're trading the blueprint. You only need to get up to 11.14 and you're done for the day. You've made your $100 per contract. Per day. Okay? However, the market was kind. Put in a swing high up here at 11.29.75. So let's go 29 minus 12. I had a calculator here a moment ago. There it is. Okay. 29 minus 12. So that's 17 times 50. 17 times $50 per contract. Here we put in a swing high at 36. So we're going to go 36 minus 12. Yeah, I could do it in my head, but I don't want to. 36 minus 12 equals 24. That's what I thought it was. Yeah, right. So there's 24 times 50. That's $1,000 per contract. That's good. Okay. So there's another market from last night that made $1,000 per contract available. You see, the magic is volatility. When the market moves, there's money to be made. This is not like stocks where you research the stock and you get to know, some of the officers of the company, and you go to the board meetings and you study the PE ratios and you look into their research and you see how their patents are coming along. That's way too much work. And it doesn't make a hill of beans anyway, because the market's going to do what the market's going to do. You have no idea what rumors are going to come out tomorrow about Elon Musk, and I know of nothing bad about Elon Musk, but you never know what could come out tomorrow that might totally destroy him and every company he ever touched, including SolarX that he's trying to buy. Go figure. He must have it. He made a deal with the devil, the president, I think, but who knows. So there's $1,000 per contract in beans. And now it's coming back, and it might just test the trigger. It just might test the trigger, but we're running out of time for beans. No, it's got a little bit more time to trade. It could happen. But we did the 1,000 per contract. So I think we're good. What haven't we done? We haven't done the NQ. NQ. Here we go. Okay. And let's get this on the 30-minute, just like all the other charts. Okay. And there's 21.30. Okay. The alert came out at 21.15. So it came out halfway through this 30-minute candle. Now, the alert said buy 41.95. So, where might this 41.95 be? It might be right there. Now, I've turned up the jams for you guys because a lot of you said, oh, I don't want to have to stay up all night to take the trade. So, I'm giving you some that trigger early. You got to be on the ball. Be ready to trade them when they come in. Because sometimes important prices in important areas don't get tested. It's pretty rare when they don't. And this day's not over. But if you didn't catch this one here, it was gone. Okay. So from 41.95 up to 42.64. So 64 and 5 would be 69. Yeah? Yeah. That's not true. This high right here was, this high was 64 and a quarter. Yeah, let's just resort to the calculator. Do it the easy way. 42.64 and a quarter. 42.64.25 minus 41.95 is 69. 69 points. All right. So let's go ahead and just take that 69 and multiply it out times 20. $1,385 per contract. $1,385 per contract. Huh. How about them Snapples? So the NASDAQ gave us $1,000. Bonds gave us no trigger. Soybeans gave us $1,000. This is all with one contract. Crude gave us, well, $1,000 if you add them all up, but that's not really the same thing. Gold gave us a clean $1,000. The Dow gave us a clean $1,000. And the ES gave us a nice clean $1,000. And so to all of you who became Concierge Trade Alert clients this weekend for the mere price of $500 a month, I think I'm going to fly out and take you all to dinner somewhere. We need to find a central spot and all meet. Because I know you got to be just on top of the world. Or you're confused. You're either on top of the world, you can't believe the good fortune that's befallen you, or you're confused. If you're confused, you need to get a hold of me. If you're on top of the world, call me and I'll come join you. Okay? All right. That covers everything that we've done for today. So I am going to get prepared for my afternoon onslaught of Concierge Trade Alerts. I've got to talk to Google, I've got to talk to YouTube, I've got errands and chores and you name it, and then I have Concierge Trade Alerts to put out tonight so that I can come back tomorrow and show you the results again. If you go to Emini, .net, you can see the results of the Concierge Trade Alerts for the last couple of years. They're all there. Take a peek. We still have quarterly and annual rates available. Okay. If this is the kind of trading that you're looking for, this is what you want to learn how to do, I'm going to teach you. I'm going to work with you. I'm going to make sure you understand what trades are good, which ones to walk away from, where to put your stop, all that stuff. How to trail your stop, how to use the indicators if you have access to the indicators. Only partners have access to the indicators. So if you don't have access to the indicators, you might consider the mentoring program where you will have access, but you don't have to have them. $100 a day is $100 a day. Now, we had, 6 markets that paid us $1,000 per contract. But if you're trading the 24/20 blueprint, all you need to do is make $100 per contract per day. And you're good as gold. Over the course of 24 months, that blueprint walks you from 1 contract to 20 contracts. Now, at 20 contracts, if you still remember how to make $100 a day per contract, that's $10,000 a week before commissions. So I know that seems like such an ungodly amount of money that it scares you. Can't be true. It sounds too good to be true. Can't be. So don't even think about that. Your job every day for the rest of your life is to make $100. Can you do that? Because that's all you have to do. You have to learn how to make $100 a day in 10 trades or less. That's all. $100. Yes, you'll add contracts over time, but you won't think about it. You won't focus on it. It will not be what's in the forefront of your mind. What will be in the forefront of your mind is just getting up and making your $100 a day. Whether it's 1 contract, 10 contracts, or 100 contracts, your job is to make $100 a day. If you can do that, the world is yours. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-host, and guest. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.
Hello and welcome to the Mind of a Trader. This is Steve Croft. Hello and welcome to the Mind of a Trader. This is Steve Croft. Napoleon Hill once said that it takes patience, persistence, and perspiration to make an unbeatable combination for success. And that's really what each one of us need to do, is because we need to understand that we're all a little bit different, and that there's some things within our trading that if we can get a handle on it, if we can truly understand all the ins and outs of what's going on between our ears when we trade, it's an amazing increase in success and productivity and profitability that will happen. I think a lot of us remember the show Happy Days, and the favorite character that was on there, Fonzie, had a very difficult time saying the word W-R-O-N-G. He never could quite get it past his lips to ever say that he was wrong. But it's an interesting thing. When you get to that point, is it really so bad to be wrong? I mean, when trading the markets, it's more common. When we get on the currency market and working there, isn't it more common for us sometimes to be wrong than to be right? I mean, there's so many ways when we trade that we can be wrong, and is that really so bad? I mean, we could misread a chart pattern. We could misread which actual chart we're on, because sometimes interpreting a chart is largely kind of a subjective interpretation, maybe of how we're feeling that day. We can maybe falsely anticipate or predict where we think the market's going to go next. Or I can just simply make a decision to put too much capital or too much of my money on one strategy, on one thing that I'm trying to work on. Now, this is natural. It's a thing that a lot of people will do at times, because human tendency is just very, very powerful. And novice traders in particular are infamous, I mean, for just wanting, needing, and expecting to be right every day. Sometimes they just kind of feel that if they're out right every day, they shouldn't be trading. And that's something that will help each one of you, is to understand that you've got to know that as you're out there as a human being, and even though the times we might feel that we're being unproductive in what we're doing, there's different trading behaviors that can put in front of us that sometimes avoid us from saying that or admitting to ourselves that maybe we are wrong. Maybe they hold on to a losing trade, for example. Maybe they keep their losses too long because they just don't want to show a loss on the paper. Sometimes we procrastinate. We just won't pull the trigger on even making a trade or putting the effort to get the trade going because we're afraid of possibly the consequences of a bad result. See, in so many ways, a need to be right can kind of stifle us. Rather than feeling free, creative, relaxed, and having a goal in front of us, a trader who will consciously or unconsciously have this powerful need to be right, in essence, you're holding yourself back. You're holding yourself back from the critical moments, from exciting moments of trading, when you're kind of inhibiting yourself. And when I inhibit on myself, or I have a fear factor, I'm afraid in front, I avoid making trades. I see it. I know I should execute the trade, but I avoid making the trade. And unless I make trades in a lot of different areas, a variety of market conditions, I'm never going to hone my skills. I'm never going to get better, because the best success in the world are the people that learn from the things that are wrong. To trade like a master, it's vital to stay calm, open, and ready to take on that winning edge. A lot of times I'll say, about Albert Einstein, Thomas Edison, when he was working on the light bulb, people said that he failed 2,000 times, but he'll tell you that he found 2,000 ways not to make a light bulb. That's kind of how we are in trading. Not that I want you to lose 2,000 trades in a row, but is wrong really being so bad? Is making a mistake being so bad if we use it properly? See, many people have trouble admitting that they're wrong, like we used with the example of Fonzie. It can be difficult to admit we're wrong. It hurts. We tend to place so much significance on negative feedback that we don't want it. We think that it gives us a bad picture of who we are. I mean, when we're wrong, it's as if we're thinking back to when our parents or teachers were criticizing us for doing something wrong. But that's a false assumption. When we are wrong or we make a mistake, we're not doing anything morally wrong in trading. We're just being human. We all make mistakes. It's what we do with those mistakes. It's vital to take the setbacks, learn from them, take them in stride, and move forward. If I can learn to downplay the emotional significance of being wrong, I'm going to be a lot calmer, and I'm going to be so much more ready and willing to make trades. So another reason we sometimes hate being wrong is that, see, our need to be perfect kind of goes back to where we were in school. So you have one time to turn a test in, one time to turn a term paper in, and you get it wrong and that's it. But sometimes teachers will give you a second chance. Let you take the test over. Let you have a term paper and take it over again, maybe even turn it in late. And that's kind of sometimes set over into this world and realizing that they see, I've only got one chance. So if I've only got one chance, I would rather just sit back and not make a mistake than to try it and fail. See, over time, if you keep applying and practicing and learning and let everything that happens in your trades give you something new for the next trade, that is when you're going to start learning how to manage your risk. You're going to hone, you're going to fine-tune, you're going to really become a great trader because you'll take the good times and you'll take the times that you're wrong, blend them together, and the fear is going to go away, and as I said at the beginning, the productivity is going to go up. There's no reason to kick yourself for making a mistake. All of us are human. You're allowed to be wrong. So don't be afraid to accept these limitations. If you allow yourself to be wrong, you're going to allow yourself to trade more freely. And over time, those skills are going to point you to trades that you never thought of before, and your overall productivity and profits are going to increase tremendously. So the next time that you're out there and you're making a trade and you make a mistake, just ask yourself, is being wrong really so bad? If you did everything you were supposed to do, if you made a solid business decision in your trade, whether it was successful or whether it wasn't, as long as you did the right steps, you did nothing wrong. You made a great trade. It's just that sometimes we get the results we want, sometimes we get results that we don't.
Have a great week of trading, and let's get together next time on The Mind of a Trader.
Hello and welcome, trader. This is Steve Croft. There's a lot more to trading than just analysis, whether it's technical or fundamental. There's so much more than just all the trading setups that we design or the strategies that come about. These are all just tools. These are tools that are available to all traders, but the rest is up to us, the individual trader. And each trader is a unique individual. I mean, there's no two traders that have the same trading style. There's none of us that have the same personality. And with that in mind, we need to understand that each one of us have our own strengths and weaknesses. It might be a whole new concept for all of us. It might be something that maybe we've done in the past. Maybe we've been a stock trader. Maybe we've traded real estate. Maybe we've traded cattle or options or oil or whatever. So what really defines a trader? Well, in order to become a trader, the first and most important thing is we as individuals need to identify ourselves and state the fact that we are a trader. We can't just say that we hope to become a trader or that we wish we could become a trader or words to that effect. I mean, all of us, to be successful, all of us need to look in the mirror and tell ourselves that we are a trader. Now, I mean, some of us are going to have more experience. Some of us have maybe had more success. Some of us are becoming maybe successful faster. Some are on the very, very first step of the road. And some of us are moving on at a really, really fast pace. But we are all traders. And the first step for us to truly become successful is to identify ourselves as such. Also, in order to become a trader, each of us must become a never-ending student of the market, a never-ending student of the currency prices, the charts, the tools, the indicators, the strategies that are available to be learned
And most importantly, we've got to become a never-ending student of ourselves. Because some of us who have been trading for a while will probably be the first ones to say that as we learn to trade, we learn a tremendous amount about ourselves. So never stop learning. Never stop learning the process of our own level of discipline. Never stop learning about our own abilities. Never stop learning about our greed, our fear, and so much more. If we just continue to keep learning, all of a sudden that vivid picture of a trader becomes clearer and clearer to us. So as each one of us watch and we analyze the movement of the prices, we have to commit total focus. We've got to commit total purpose to doing that exact activity at that moment. There can't be anything else. There can't be any time pressures. We can't have any distractions. We can't have any outside influences that can deter that important focus. It must be just the currency price and the charts that we're looking at that moment. Now, in a fast-paced world, that's difficult for us. And that's why we have to plan our day. Depending whether you're working in the home, out of the home, whether you've got one job, two jobs, or whether you're doing this full-time as a trader, we need to plan the time that we're going to trade, or to plan the time we're going to analyze our charts for future trades and commit to that time, just like we commit that time to anything else in our life. So as we watch and analyze the direction, as we watch and analyze the evolving trend of currency prices, here's an important thing. Think of it this way. As we're doing that, we're actually asking the market for guidance. This currency market, we need to remain humble and, in essence, extremely thankful for every lesson that this market's bringing to us. Because the currency market's willing to teach us, but we have to be committed to being a willing student, a trader, and true to who we are inside, true to ourselves as wanting to and acknowledging ourselves as a trader. So as we made that commitment, we're sitting in front of our charts, we're letting everything else step aside for a moment, and we're committing that 15 minutes, that hour, that 2 hours, whatever time frame that we've put together. And as we watch and analyze the price, and we're trying to determine or seek out that future movement, that future trend, whether it's emerging or reversing or bouncing around within a sideways channel, remember this. You're a trader, and you need to understand, all of us, that there's no direct route where we desire to get to in the movement of the currency. But at no time are we ever lost, because we're following the trend of the price, which is crystal clear being shown to us by the movement of the market. Now, somebody looks at it and they'll say, but Steve, I don't always know what the movement of the market is. That's exactly right, because only the currency price, only the price itself knows where it wants to go. However, it speaks loudly, and we need to learn to listen. And if we listen correctly, we're going to be rewarded. And if we make a mistake, which guess what, every one of us are going to do when we trade over the years, we're going to be punished. But we've got to remain patient. We've got to remain a willing student, a trader, and true to being who we are. Nothing more, nothing less. No one day makes us or breaks us. No one single trade can make us or break us. We need to thank the market every time that we learn a lesson. We need to thank the market for every lesson that we're going to continue to learn. We need to thank the market for every lesson that we will learn in the future, because we're all traders, and that's our commitment. It's being honest and understanding and true to what our exact talents are, what our abilities are, and even more important than that, what our own learning curve is, because every one of us will learn at different times, different paces, different rates. Each one of us are going to be able to grasp a certain strategy or an indicator or a price chart or a trend at different levels. So what do we understand if we realize we're going to lose? How do we understand that? Well, as I stated a few moments ago, we will lose. And the bottom line is, it's hard to take a loss. But as a trader, that's what we do. We take losses along with profits. And it's how each of us handle these profits and losses. That describes the ultimate resolve to our own pathway to becoming better and better as a trader. But each day that we sit in front of our charts to make a trading decision, our goal should be, I want to be a little bit better today than I was yesterday. Whether that means I want to be a little more patient, or I want to study a little bit more, or I want to get on with my small group and talk to them and listen to them a little bit more, or I want to wait for the trade to come to me a little bit longer before I make my decision. I just want to be better today than I was yesterday. That's the willing to learn. I also have a goal that I want to be better tomorrow than I am today. We need to learn and implement the ability and skill of cutting our losses and letting our profits run. However, guess what? We're human beings, and our basic human nature pushes us. It pushes us to grab a quick profit, but let the losses run. And if we don't practice and learn how to fight that temptation, in the long run, we'll run out of trading capital and just move on with our lives. We'll miss out on this tremendous lifetime skill. When it comes to profits and losses, it's easy to take profits, but it's hard to let them run. Now, I'm not talking about being greedy, but without greed taking over, try and let them run. Try and let them hit a better profit level than maybe you do each day. Because the opposite side of that, it's also easy to let the losses run, and it's hard to take them. Because psychologically, we tell ourselves, well, I haven't really lost because I haven't closed a trade yet. It's just going the opposite direction. But reality generally comes into play sooner or later. Because in order to be successful as a trader, we've got to go against the human nature of hopes and dreams and learn how to face reality. When we get into our charts and we get into trades, we've got to deal with the psychological aspect that it's hard to take a loss. And most of us as traders try not to take losses, and we let them just keep running and running in hopes that the trade will reverse. However, an unrealized loss is still a loss. And by not covering it or closing it, we as traders face a dilemma of shirking our capital and watching it shrink. Remember that our trading capital, that risk capital, the money that we're willing to lose, is our inventory, something to be used when the right opportunity comes around. But by letting the losses run and hanging to such notions as just hopes and dreams that the market will just like me and change, they don't exist in the market. It's something that many of us have learned the hard way when we've had a loss go farther than our comfort level, but now we just hope that it comes back. Instead of learning from that situation, taking that lesson the market is giving us, we need to understand and let the dilemma come about that taking a larger loss than we're comfortable with causes us to either stop trading or pour more money into our account without having a good reason to do that. In order to grow in our trading skill level and increase our success patterns, we must first learn how to take the loss. Losses are inevitable, no matter if you're a professional or a novice. It's how we deal with them that defines our trading personality. If we will work on sticking to what the stop loss is all about, that comfort level of knowing that if the trade goes the opposite direction that we had planned, that we take full responsibility for that loss, and we exit at that point, and we do new strategies, new indicators, a new plan to take the next trade, because we know that we're not going to lose every time. We know that if we plan properly, that we will have profitable trades. And next week we'll talk about how we take those profits and learn to let them run and have the ability to have profitable trades that overtake the few losses that we have. And the better that we get in managing the wonderful trades we make and allow ourselves to say it's okay to make profit. It's okay to make a little more profit than we expected. And to match that with good money management and loss management, that is the difference between people's accounts that continually work their way in the upward positive mode of capital rising in value compared to those that have the roller coaster of a big profitable margin amount and a big negative usable margin amount and back and forth. Our goal as traders is every day to find the strategy, the skill, and the patience to take the account higher and higher and allow ourselves to stretch and see this powerful financial tool that we have and to be able to learn that we can become a successful trader. Learn who we are, learn about our trades, learn about our strengths, learn about our weaknesses, put them all together, and day by day make good trading decisions. That is what defines a trader.
Well,
Have a great week of trading.
I'm curious.
And let's get together next time on The Mind of a Trader.
Hey, trader. What if I told you there was an indicator set that worked well in all markets, from gold to soybeans to E-minis? What if I told you it worked well across all time frames? Would you believe me? You don't have to. Test drive our platform and indicators of live data for a full week and see how CFRN can change your trading forever. No strings attached, no credit card required. Get started today at www.cfrn.net.
As far back as I can remember, I've been on this journey for 16 years with Jesus. Got saved 16 years ago in June. And my mom would say I never outgrew the why stage. I've just kind of always, the kids that get into that, but why? I've just kind of never outgrown that. And so when I started trying to follow the Lord, I had the why thing all the time. And so what happened to me is I just kind of hopped around a bunch of different sects of Christianity. And so I got into college, and I wanted to know if there was any truth or any power in the charismatic movement. So I just started going to charismatic churches and started going to charismatic revivals, and I just wanted to know. I wanted to know what was going on in there, and found some things to be false and found some things to be very beautifully true. And then I started going to Bible churches and started going to, checking out that thing, and then Baptist, and I even sat in some Church of Christ things and went to, I just kind of danced around to the sects. And what I noticed is that all of the different kind of branches, they all preached the same thing with a different emphasis. Like here's what I would say to you. Here's the message. Do you want more peace? Do you want more life? And this is the message that goes out to Christians, not just non-Christians. But do you want more peace? Do you want more freedom from your sin? Do you want to walk in more life and vitality? Do you want a deeper, more passionate relationship with Christ? Then you need to fill in the blank. All right? And depending on where you were, the blank was different. So, like at the charismatic churches, it was you need a deeper walk with the Holy Spirit. In the Bible churches, it was you need more Scripture. All right, if you get truth and you master truth, then you'll have it. And then there were other places that were like, no, it's discipleship, and you need this planned out discipleship model or module. And if you do that, then you'll be there. And then you had others that were like, no, it's missions. And if you do that, you're never going to know the heart of God if you don't know missions, because mission is the heart of God. And then there were other groups that are like, no, it's deep, authentic, real community. And if you have that, then you're going to be there. And others were like, no, it's community renewal. It's cultural renewal. If you get into that, then you're there. And others will be like, no, it's worship. God desires worship. We need to work. We need to sing for an hour and 75 minutes, all right? There needs to be fireworks and tears, and there needs to be, right? And that's what it is. And we can get into that mode of worship, then we'll be there. And others yet were like, oh, no. It's systematic theology and understanding systematic theology. And the more systematic and programmatic we can make this thing, the better off we'll be. And on 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 it goes. It continues to go. All right? Now, I don't want to in any way discredit any of those things. Because I believe that all of them are viable and all of them, to some extent, commanded in Scripture. I think what's happened, though, is that churches, we're guilty also, we've concentrated on like one or two of those. And in the pursuit of excellence, all right, in the pursuit of doing some things perfectly. We've concentrated on one or two to the neglect of others, and in the end, it's made us very unhealthy. Like imagine it this way. Imagine you went to the gym, and that is imagining, all right? But imagine you went to the gym, and you only worked the right side of your body. All right? Now, I'm being careful here, and I'm not saying that you only worked the upper part of your body, because that's most men. And so they want, like, the chest and the arms, but you're like, hey, buddy, why don't you get on the squat rack? And it's so true. But so instead of that, let's say that we just worked the right side of our body, right? I mean, we did curls, we did triceps, we just worked those abs, and we worked the right leg and the right calf, and we got on the creatine and started drinking the protein shakes and eating the protein bar and eating every 2 hours and doing all those things that we read about. And we do all of that stuff. Now, what you might be thinking is, well, at least the right side of you would be very powerful.
They ran.
I mean, at least that. I mean, all right, you're going to look a little weird, but at least the right side of you is powerful. Now, the problem with that is that the body wasn't designed that way, so here's what's going to happen. As you grow and stretch the ligaments and tendons, the muscles begin to grow on the right side of your body, it's going to push one of your hips forward, pull one of your hips back, push one of your shoulders forward, one of the other ones back, and you're going to get all twisted and all maligned, and in the end, you're going to be strong nowhere because you're going to throw your back out or blow out one of your hips. You're just going to be a mess. And then you're not going to be strong anywhere or be able to do really anything because you're disjointed and out of how you were designed to function.
Especially if
Yeah.
you found something.
And so what happens when the church goes, let's be good at these two things, is in the end, she ceases to function as God designed her to function in culture and in society. And so you get this sickly, maligned version of what should be strong and beautiful. So here's what I want to do the next few weeks with you. I want to go backwards. I want to start with who Jesus says we are as the church, and then I want to back into all these things that are right and good that everybody says you need to do to know Jesus deeply. Okay? So let's start. This is a very, very popular passage of Scripture. Matthew chapter 5. We'll pick it up in 13.
Well, I mean, gold on the Brexit day, gold paid $8,000 per contract.
You are the salt of the earth. But if salt has lost its taste, how shall its saltiness be restored? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled under people's feet. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a stand. And it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. Let me point out a couple of things before I talk about what I think we need to talk about. One, I want you to notice, well, I'll tell you this, that sitting in this crowd listening to Jesus are peasants and uneducated men and women. And the reason I'm telling you women is that in the first century, most Jewish men began in the synagogue with a daily prayer that says, "Praise you, God, creator of heaven and earth, that I was not born a Gentile or a woman." Yeah. Okay, but Jesus here is speaking to Gentiles and Jews and uneducated peasants and educated Pharisees. He's talking to this massive cross-section of society, and he's saying, you are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. So what Patterson and Bleeker worked with you guys on a couple weeks ago seems to be true, that there's not a type of person that God is after, but rather the door seems to be wide open for all who would believe in Him. The other thing I would notice is that it doesn't seem to be the plan of God to get us into monasteries.
You've got to risk $600.
Does it? You are the salt of the earth, so get in the cupboard. That's not what happened. All right? You are the light of the world, so hide it under a bush. Oh, no. All right? So it doesn't seem, that's uncalled for. All right? I've been out a couple of weeks. I'm out of practice. All right, let's keep going. So I just wanted to point those two things out. Those are universal truths that I'm always trying to get across here. So let's pick it up in 13 again. You are the salt of the earth. Now, when this thing has been preached historically, and it's been preached correctly historically, I believe, what's happened is that we've taken salt and what salt does, and we say, since salt does this, all right, that means we are this. And so it's kind of worked like this. We've said salt is a preservative. So then we are, as the church, a preservative against moral decay in society. All right? Salt brings flavor. So we, as the church, we flavor society. Salt is a fertilizer. So we, as the church, we create ground where spiritual growth can occur. All right? That when you eat salt, you become thirsty. So we, as the church, when people are around us, when people see us, they become thirsty for the things of God. And then some guys, they stretch it really bad. Like I read one guy that said, salt is white, and white is the universal symbol of purity, so we are pure. I was like, it's kind of stretching, man, all right? It's like, salt is a granule, so we are, I think you could probably take it too far. But I think that they're right, and they're onto something, and they're good. But what I want to do is kind of talk core issue of salt, and not just salt as a preservative or salt as a flavor or salt as, but I think we'll address that some. But what I want to talk to you kind of about core schema underneath all of that. Like, here's what I would tell you. Here's what salt is. Salt is breathing in spiritually. That's what it is. Salt is breathing in spiritually. Let me explain what I mean by that. The Holy Spirit grabs a hold of our heart and begins to chisel and shape and mold us more and more and more and more over a period of time into the image of Christ. All right? So we're not talking about integrity or character, but rather the root or the well that integrity and character come out of. All right? And so the Holy Spirit begins to work on that thing in us, our soul, our spirit, transforms us, moves in us, chisels at us, creates in us, so that we become a type of people that preserve against moral decay, add flavor to life, cause other people to be spiritually thirsty. We could go on and all the illustrations of what salt does, all right? And that transformation, now follow me here, that transformation of the Holy Spirit working in us and us submitting to it then enables us to become light to the world around us. Notice that this text starts by saying you are the salt of the earth, and that becoming the salt of the earth leads to then being the light of the world. And so what ends up happening to make us salty, if you will, is a submission to the Holy Spirit's power in our lives to shape and mold us that leads to transformation that then is attractive to the world around us. Now, I've spent a lot of years now, probably 10, trying to figure out whether or not we know our own message. Like, I know we know pieces of it. Like, I know we know that Jesus died on the cross for our sins, and those who believe in him get to go to heaven. Like, I know we know pieces of it, but I'm wondering if on a whole we understand the gospel and we understand the kingdom of God. Because there seems to be an undue, unhealthy passion for information and knowledge, and little to no passion or zeal for transformation. So that in the end, we've got belief down, but we haven't been changed at all. In fact, it seems like there is a mountain of sermons and resources and programs that are meant to increase our knowledge, but there's no accountability or structure of authority that enables us to apply the information that we've gained. So that in the end, we've become masters of information, but not necessarily masters of life. And so what's occurred is, on a whole, we can confess and cry out the things that we believe, but few of us operate in those things at all. And listen, you cannot, you cannot empirically disagree with me. We don't do any better when it comes to marriage. We don't do any better when it comes to debt. We don't do any better when it comes to getting sucked into consumerism. We don't do any better when it comes to lust, pornography, those things. Those things are as pervasive as an issue within the walls of the church as they are on the outside of the church, despite the fact that on a whole, churches across the country would agree belief-wise on all of those things. Now, why is this such a big deal? Well, let's go back to the text. You're looking at me like you don't like what I'm saying, but I'm just reading you the Bible, so let's go.
I would love to see
You are the salt of the earth. Okay, so listen to this.
Bad science.
But if salt has lost its taste, how shall its saltiness be restored? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled under people's feet. So listen to what the scriptures just said. To believe but not to practice is worthless. I mean, it's worthless. And I don't know if you've known this or not, but we've lost our saltiness. Like, I'll give you an example. I grew up West Coast, Bay Area. Some of you are like, it's all making sense now, all right? But grew up out there, and even in San Francisco, I'm 33. When I was in elementary school, here's how we began every morning at school. We all stood up, found the flag, pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God. Do you guys not remember the pledge? It was like, all right. Can we say that? Can we say that here? Yeah, let me explain to you what was happening there. For the last 1,000 years, the church's role in society was called Christendom. And what this means is that the institutions within our organizations taught Christian virtue. Christendom is dead.
Okay, let's just leave it at that, and I thank you for calling.
It's dead.
Okay, well, call me when you get
It's
home,
over.
and
In
we'll
fact,
get together and do a
if
great
it was
breakfast
not
meeting, and
for
we'll go
small gatherings of conservative people,
All right, brother, enjoy
we
the
would already
vacation.
mirror Europe or Canada.
Okay, thank you.
We're less than a generation away. We're less than a generation away. Why? Because the church has lost her place in culture. Salt has lost its saltiness. Because we believe, but we're no different. So what's left except for us to be trampled on by man? Because there's no difference. We have nothing to point to. We have nothing to see. Marriage works best when you do that. Right? You submit. You love each other like this. The man loves his wife like Christ loves the church. The woman respects her husband. See, it works. We're saying divorce is a sin. You shouldn't do that. Divorce everywhere. We're saying lust will eat up the mind. It'll make you look at women, make you look at men as objects. Then you'll have soulless sex that brings no real gratification and no real depth and no real depth. And then our pastors are getting busted all over the place doing the same things. You see, we have belief, but we have no transformation, and it makes us, well, it gives us the role of fool in culture. Is that not our game? Is that not our role here now, the fool? Do you guys watch television? When's the last time we were painted in this really great light? Like sometimes I'll be watching it and they'll really be dogging us along and be like, Matt, turn it. I was like, come on, we earned that. Let's watch this. Let's just reap it real quick. Yeah, because you've got belief with no transformation. We've mastered information and applied very little of it. All right, so what I want to do this morning, just really quickly, is I want to talk about how I think we got here. Because I think by looking at how we got to this place, because I don't think all is lost, because there's definitely been darker times in Christian's history, Christianity in history, Spanish Inquisition, Crusades. You start looking back on some of that stuff, it's dark. But we're in a real dangerous place as a culture and as a country when it comes to our faith. And so I think that by looking at how we got here, that we might be able to fight against it and maybe start to swim upstream. All right, because I think if we were honest, the majority of us would say, I believe a lot more than I operate in. Agreed? All right, so what's led to that? What's caused some of that? And what are the spiritual battles we need to fight? Okay, let's chat. I've got 5 things here I want to cover. I'll cover them quickly. All right? Number 1, I think there's been an undue emphasis placed on width rather than depth. All right, so let me say it this way. I'm not talking about numerics here. All right, I'm not talking about numbers. There's been an undue emphasis put on numbers. What I'm saying is that I think there's been an undue emphasis placed on the amount of information you know versus the amount of emphasis placed on you actually doing what you know. And so churches are built all across our country to